Welcome to the Elite Life with Trisha and Kylie. This is where we'll teach you how to develop grit, give yourself grace, and succeed in real estate. So let's dive in.
Welcome, friends. I'm Trish, and this is a fresh episode of Elite Life Podcast. Of course, I have the ever-ecstatic Kylie by my side.
Is ecstatic really the best way to describe me?
Depends on the day.
I can be ecstatic.
Yeah.
I can be ecstatic, I guess. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm just same crap, different day, man. I was looking at my Google Calendar, and I was looking at it for the next few weeks, and I realized I'm already exhausted. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to need a nap just from looking at my calendar. And it doesn't help that I signed up for this boot camp with my coach who has decided that she's going to help me radically change my life because this mommy pooch and this average agent crap just ain't paying the bills. And if I fail, I owe her $400.
So, number one, that sounds like you have a fantastic coach.
Oh, she's she's something.
And that's a lot of money for failure. So what's on the to-do list?
So just basically dreadful things. All of the crap that I hate to do: working out, drinking water, taking a vitamin, calling strangers and asking them for their business. Making friends in person and online.
Your face looks terrible and your language.
These are all horrifying things.
I mean, that's really strong language. Horrifying, like horrifying. I want you to think about that word, horrifying.
It's horrific. I'm traumatized. We live in this traumatic experience.
The negativity is seeping out of you. It's like contagious.
Listen,
and I'm picturing in my mind like a car accident with like bloody
It's
people.
much like that. It's more like a scene from like Silent Hill where there's just lots of fog and like vague, creepy shadows in the distance. But like, I don't think I'm negative. I think I'm more of like a realist. Like in real life, these things do suck.
I think that that's something that weak people say when they don't want to get gritty and pull their big girl panties up. Huh?
Well, listen here.
How about we put our positive pants on?
Oh, let's put on our positive pants. So listen. So that's fine. I will admit that I am not always the most positive person when something crops up or when something's going on. So
your language sucks, Kylie.
My language sucks. I mean, my mom's been telling me that since I was 10. I've had my mouth washed out a few times by Grandma Cherry as well. So,
but when I say your language sucks, I don't mean like you cuss like a trucker. I mean,
I do that.
That's true. But the thing is the words that you are using, and when I say bad language, the words that you are using, whatever you put out into the world, your mind and your body are going to go find. So if you are constantly saying this is dreadful, this is horrific, like those are really strong words. If you really stop and think about what is actually horrific and what is actually dreadful. And I want to, before I get into that, I want to tell you a little story, right?
Okay, story time. I'm snuggled up.
I was listening to a podcast, as I often do, right? And a major university did this study, and they took a group of people, broke it up into two groups, and one group, they gave milkshakes. They gave both groups milkshakes. The first group.
This sounds like a study I want to be in.
Milkshake bring. All right. That's all I've thought of ever since I heard this story. Insert song there, producer Dave. So the first group, they told them and they talked about how these shakes are high calorie, high fat, filling meal replacement milkshakes. They're going to make you feel full. You're going to love them. They are great, super high fat, high calorie, high content, right? In the other group, they said these shakes are diet shakes. They are low calorie, low fat diet shakes. And what had happened was after having these conversations with the two groups drank their milkshakes. Surprise twist, they were the exact same milkshake.
Oh.
100% same milkshake. They gave everybody the same milkshake, but one group, they told them that they were super high calorie and very filling. And one group, they told they were low calorie and diet. And the people who drank the high calorie, quote unquote, shakes, their body actually released a chemical that makes your body full feeling called uroguanilion, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing wrong. But it's a chemical that your body releases that tells your body it's full. So they all drank the same shakes, but the people who were told and talked about that they were filling, their body actually changed its chemistry and made them feel full. And the other group, their body told them they were hungry.
Stop it.
Dead serious, true science. And then they talked about another study where two groups of people came in, and one group, they told them how wonderful and how healthy they looked. And the other group, they started having conversations. They had this like little infiltrator, right, in the group who like would walk around to people and be like, oh, you know, you really don't look very well. Are you feeling okay? Like, I know that there's a flu going around that has like a high fever that comes with it. And like, you look kind of hot. Like, are you sure you're feeling well? And the people who they told that they didn't look good and asked if they were feeling well, 9 out of 10 of them, their temperatures increased by 3 degrees. They actually made themselves scientifically and physically sick.
That's ridiculous. It makes me think of this episode of The Office where Dwight is bragging about how he can raise and lower his cholesterol at will. But I guess if he's telling himself or somebody's telling him he's got high cholesterol and low cholesterol, his body might balance that out.
It is. I mean, and this is the thing, like, this isn't just me telling you. This is actual science and studies and facts that your life and your body can change purely based on what you believe.
Okay.
What you say out loud.
And I get that. So like we talk a lot about like manifesting your destiny, putting it out there, going to get it. And to defend myself here, when I say dreadful things, I mean like most people don't like working out. Most people, you know, taking vitamins, calling strangers, like no one talks anymore on the phone anyways. So, but like truly it's kind of like my own mental game, like, and this might be totally backwards, but like I love the feeling at the end of the day of like where I can look back and be like, see all these dreadful things. I'm Tim Burton because I lived through, I did all the dreadful things, like all of the dreadful things.
So like you like a challenge.
No, it's not a challenge because just like you were just saying, like mentally, like words make sense, right? Words make sense. So mentally, our verbal conversations can impact us mentally and physically. And I don't like the challenge thing. I know you do. But like the very moment someone's like, let's do a challenge, I'm usually like totally turned off. I don't know. I think I have, I know what it is. I have childhood trauma from like, remember that presidential crap that they made us do in gym class where you had to get up in front of every single person in your whole class and do like a pull-up. And for those of you who don't know what I look like, I am super Caucasian on the top and super Puerto Rican on the bottom. So like that just don't add out. Like the ratios there as far as like strength versus upper body versus lower body.
Fair enough. But like you come across and you often are like super cynical and pessimistic in what you say out loud. Like I'll see you and you'll be like, Hot Mess Express coming through. Nobody wants to talk to me on the phone. And the thing is like when you're putting that out into the universe, you're making things harder for yourself. Like you are absolutely making things harder for yourself because this is a great thing. So Jacob said something the other day, which was totally crazy. And I'm like, really interesting. Where did you get that information? So where did you get the information that nobody talks on the phone anymore? Just because you don't talk on the phone anymore doesn't mean that nobody talks on the phone anymore. I had a class and the guy that was a guest speaker there goes, nobody's on Facebook anymore. Do you know there's 2.8 billion with a B, people on Facebook. So just because your 20-year-old self isn't on Facebook anymore doesn't mean that nobody's on Facebook anymore. And just because
crazy.
you don't like to talk on the phone doesn't mean that nobody talks on the phone anymore. I can think of off the top of my head, I had 4 people call me this morning before 8 a.m. Like, there are lots.
That was Grandma and Aunt Cheryl, wasn't it?
Well, guess what? Grandma and Aunt Cheryl buy houses, you know? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, who told you that? Who told you that? And you need to ask yourself, who told you that nobody likes to work out? There is an entire world of people who love working out. Like, think of all the people that are runners and all the people that are, you know, Instagram influencers that work out all day, every day, people that are trainers, people that work at gyms. Like, there are huge communities of people that are ever growing jujitsu, CrossFit. Like, there are lots of people that love working out, but you may have been raised by somebody who didn't work out, or maybe at some point in time, like you just admitted, you had
Trauma.
a negative interaction with pull-ups and you didn't get the certificate signed by the
I
president.
did not get the certificate.
Right? So you need to stop. You have to stop putting these things out as facts because you're making it harder on yourself.
All right, fair enough. So I see your point. It's like when we talk about prospecting, right? So like if you're so focused on the number of calls that you're going to make, like if you sit down and you're like, okay, I'm going to make 100 calls. Like you just said, your brain's going to go to work and you're going to make 100 calls. But how many of those are you going to convert? How many good conversations are you going to have? I will say to your credit that when I flipped my mindset on prospecting from not just like the negative bullshit, but like when I flipped my mindset from I have to make 50 calls to I'm going to talk to 5 people today. Dude, I ended up talking to like 7 people. And when I say talk, I don't mean, no, I don't need any real estate help. It's I got them, hey, what's going on? I got them on the phone. I got to know them. I got to understand like where they were at. And I will tell you, there were a couple of them who didn't have any current real estate needs. But you know what? Because I called them and I cared about like what's going on with their dog and like the fact that they have an adorable grandson that was just born last week, you know, they're going to remember my name. So that way when they open the letter that I sent them with my business cards, they're going to hand those out. So like when you're thinking about it and you're not just looking for your next client, you're looking for referral sources. And that was one thing I had to remember too is like, you know, we're not just looking for other people to connect with who need help right now. It's like, who else is out there who can send you business? And when you're nice to people, people remember that you're nice because not so many people are nice anymore. I didn't need anyone to tell me that. That's just from opening my eyes and looking around.
Right.
But like the same thing too, like when you get a new car, all you see are that car. Like when we got our van, when we got our Chrysler Town and Country, it's a silver, all we saw were vans. So now every time we're going down the road, it's like the kids will be in the back, be like, silver van gang. And that means we saw another silver van on the road.
Yeah, but great example. So last Thursday, right? Andy walks into my office and he goes, gosh, you know, this shift is really hard. Like, nobody wants to talk to me. And not 15 minutes later, Erica Mendino walks in my office and goes, Trish, I made 10 calls. I had 6 conversations. I got 2 buyers and a listing appointment. Both of them are using the same lists, the same calls, doing the same thing. It's a mindset. It's a mindset, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and I told Andy, I said, I want you to stop right now. What would you tell yourself? Like, we coach other people, but oftentimes we need to take our own advice, right? So What would you tell yourself? He's like, nobody cares, work harder. I'm like, nobody cares, go work harder, right? Like, who told you that? Who told you nobody does business around the holidays? I'll tell you what, buyers that go out around Christmas are serious buyers. People still need to relocate around Thanksgiving. People are constantly, there's lots of people that don't celebrate holidays, so it's just another Monday or Tuesday to them. Like, right. Who told you that? Stop limiting yourself with these limiting beliefs.
That's bad language.
Bad language. All right. So this is a good spot to pause our conversation. And when we come back, I am going to share 5 things that you can do to completely change your life just by the things that you say or don't say.
Do you know more than 80% of real estate agents fail and quit in their first year of business? MyStarsAcademy.com has set out to solve this problem by providing a convenient, expert-based training and coaching program for both agents and brokers. The Agent Accelerator program teaches agents everything they need to know to level up their business, have a constant flow of free leads, convert those leads into clients, and take those clients to the closing table and keep them coming back for more as repeat business. Our industry experts have years of proven success in the business and are here to share that gold through one-on-one coaching. This will help you achieve more structure and work-life balance. We will map you a plan you can follow, which will guide you through the steps to scale and grow in both your business and personal life. Don't be a statistic. Visit MyStarsAcademy.com and enroll today so you can get the success you deserve.
All right, we're back on Elite Life Podcast right now. And coming at you are Trisha's top 5 tips for cleaning up that dirty mouth.
If everybody doesn't go out and get a pack of Orbit's gum after this, I don't know.
They owe us.
Yeah.
They owe us money. So we're not talking about cussing at children in the backyard or making dirty jokes about the neighbors. Apparently I do those things because I wrote that part. We are talking about the kinds of words that we put into the universe, how we shape our realities with our speech. So take it away, Trisha.
All right. So number 1, I want everybody to take the words can't and never and toss them in the freaking trash. Okay. Once I stopped saying.
What about I can't live without you and I never will?
Listen. I literally will. I have ingrained this so much in my being. I'll go to say, oh, I could never, and I will stop myself. Like I can't even get it out of my mouth when I'm talking to another person because I know it's a bullshit excuse. That's it. That's it. Like that is all it is, because I constantly used to say, oh, I could never run a race. Now I'm running my second marathon. Oh, I can't do that. I don't have the time. Really? Now I find time to run 4 companies, have 2 kids, run marathons, and do all this other stuff. And I don't say these things to brag. I say it because, like,
it's doable.
It's doable. I started as an overweight, unhealthy, no confidence girl from a trailer park. And now I live in a lake house and have money to go to Jamaica and Turks and Caicos. Like, again, not to brag, but if I can do it, literally every other human on the planet can do it. You have to stop saying, oh, like we had movers move our stuff one time, and I had an elliptical that, I got on a whim on a Black Friday deal one time and said I was going to get in shape, but I never ever worked out. So our movers, they bring in the elliptical and I'm like, you can put that right under the stairs. I could never work out. Dude, I work out every single day without fail now.
Sometimes multiple times.
I ran 2 races on Saturday. So like that was just stupid. Like you have to stop saying I would never be able to do that or I can't do that. That's garbage. You can do anything in the entire world. It just has to be a big enough priority. Next. Calm it down. Tony Robbins always tells this story about he was overseas in like a third world country. Like he does a lot of give back programs and things like that. And he was in like such a desolate area. It had no cell service. And he had told his team, like, I'm going to be over here, like digging wells in the middle of nowhere for kids to get water. I won't be able to be reached. And his mom, he never told his mom. So his mom kept like calling his office. They're like, we can't get to him. When he finally got home, she was like, what? Don't you ever do that again. You humiliated me. You absolutely humiliated me. Like that was her word, was humiliated. And he's like, Mom, like humiliate, like you just couldn't get a hold of me for a couple of days.
Yeah,
like,
you weren't like walking naked through the streets or anything like that.
He's like, humiliation is like if I split the back of my pants and everybody sees I'm not wearing underwear while I'm speaking in an arena in front of 100,000 people.
Ooh, that would be bad.
That is humiliation. Like when we were talking earlier, you're like dreadful. Like, no. Making calls, like it might be a little uncomfortable at first, but like
might not be fun at first.
Yeah, like stop being so overly dramatic. Like it's not, you're not humiliated. Dramatic? You're definitely dramatic. So calm it down, right?
Simmer down now.
Get some perspective, right? Get some perspective. People are like, this is awful. This is hard. Dude, I went to go do that meal program one time. It was called Whole30, and you read a book with it, and it was like, don't you dare say it's hard to eliminate carbs from your diet. Like, cancer is hard. Your child being in an ICU is awful. Losing your home to foreclosure due to losing your job is dreadful. Those things are big enough things to get those words. You having to make 15 phone calls, or you having to go outside and get a little sweaty? Uncomfortable. That's all you're allowed to say. It's a little bit of discomfort. It is not that bad. There are so many things that are so much harder and worse. Like, get some perspective. Like, oh, now my ride is longer to my office. Dude, I got a great new house. I got a great office. I get extra time to listen to podcasts and get personal development that I badly need. Like, an extra 10-minute commute is not awful. Breaking my leg, that would be awful, right? Like, so get some perspective in your life. Next, and I say this all the time, so I'm not going to dwell on this one, but understand that everyone is doing the best they can with what they have. I say this almost every episode, but it's because when I finally heard that, it was a very much an aha moment for me, because like, I'll hear people gossiping in the office all the time, and they're like, she's such a jerk, she's such an idiot, she's such a hoe. But none of them, they never stop to think like, maybe she isn't a jerk. Maybe you just read her text with a crappy tone that she didn't even have. Like, that's your perspective, right? Like, you're making things up in your head. Or maybe she's not an idiot. Maybe she just wasn't privileged to get the same training that you have, right? Like, everybody is doing
that a lot.
What they can.
I use that a lot, like when I'm driving and someone's being a jackhole in front of me, and I have to remember, like, maybe they're rushing because they had a really crappy morning. Like, maybe their kid is sick. And so, like, when you're on the road and people, now if they're looking at their blessed phone, by all means lay on that horn, okay? But like, I was stuck behind someone really quick. I was stuck behind someone. They weren't paying attention. I missed 2 cycles of the light. I was running late to pick up my kids. I finally got going by her. This woman was literally sobbing, like mournful, like wailing in her car. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, ooh, okay. And you just have to say a prayer for that person and move on and just understand, like you said, like everybody's just doing the best they can.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but not least, like, identify your triggers of negative thought patterns and rewrite your identities. So take 2 days. I love auditing. Write down all the negative stuff you say on the regular, and then ask yourself, like, why do you say that? Why do you say that? Like, instead of saying I'm a hot mess, say I'm a great mom and wife, and I'm excited to always be getting better. Instead of saying I could never be a runner, say I'm training to be a better athlete, or I'm working on getting healthier one day at a time, Instead of saying, oh, I'm fat, say I'm working on getting my health in a better order. I'm making small steps every day to get better in every way. Instead of saying, I hate making calls, nobody wants to talk to me, it's dreadful, say, I'm so super excited to connect with my next $300,000 client. I am so super pumped to lock in 2 new clients today. I cannot wait to have a great conversation today so I can get my family one step closer to that bigger house.
Yes. Okay, I'm on it. Next 2 days will be negative. Oh, you're going to make me do it? You snuck it right in here. You sneaky Pete.
You're welcome.
All right. So we're going to audit our language and make sure that we keep a clean house, or in this case, a clean mouth. You know what? You're just making jokes now because I forgot to brush my teeth this morning. That's really what it's all about, isn't it? All right, everyone. I hope you took some notes, because if you didn't, shame on you. If you didn't, come back, re-listen, jot things down, implement. Even if you just take one of these things, it would be super awesome. I apparently have to do all blessed every one of them. So if I can do it, you can do it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We really appreciate your help in growing the show. Let us know you love us so we can keep bringing you some fresh content, and you can get that fresh content every Thursday on Elite Life Podcast.
Bye.
We thank you so much for joining us today on the Elite Life with Trish and Kylie. Be sure to share the episode with a friend so we can continue bringing you more great tips on grit, grace and real estate. You can also connect with us on Instagram, Facebook. We hope the ideas we share continue to help you build an empire and leave a legacy.